Welcome to Good Mythical More.
It's a little bit different today.
No.
There's no wheel.
Yeah, we wanted to release the documentary like we did today, and we will the next 2 days as a part of Good Mythical Morning, because it was such a special endeavor for us in association with the novel being out. So we wanted to make sure that everyone had an opportunity to see it. Now, it premiered as part of our Bleak Creek Conversations.
We showed a slightly different version that kind of worked a little bit better for the Bleak Creek Conversations at that, but we didn't want to keep that at just that very limited event. That was just, a week's worth of nights, and, there's only so many people who could come to those places, so we were like, hey, let's put it on the channel, let everybody see it, because the whole purpose of it is to, just like we said at the top of the first part today, is to show that connection between Bowie's Creek and our childhoods that led to the story that is in Bleak Creek.
Yeah, so as we said in the graveyard, we were talking about going to the river because it was so hot. We in a subsequent episode, well, in the next 2 days, we're gonna have two more sessions, 2 more segments.
We're gonna visit some
of the
other
documentary,
places in Bowie's Creek,
including
the river.
The river.
And some things that happen at the river.
Yeah, so you want to throw stuff at each other's nuts for the more? I don't know. Do you feel inspired? Have you done that?
I feel like in watching that back, I feel like there was a moment, like I don't feel like you really dealt with the fact that you jumped into your dog's grave. I feel like we need to go deeper. I feel like we need to talk about that even more, as if it wasn't already awkward enough. Because, by the way, that picture that we showed there,
as if
I took the picture.
As if me walking around my house and just speaking aimlessly wasn't awkward enough. I had to talk about.
Well, and seeing the picture,
the whole Tucker thing.
That I remember taking that picture in your backyard of you, like in that pose. Seeing where the mud came up to your on your legs made me remember that
wasn't as deep.
We buried that dog pretty shallow.
Yeah, it wasn't as deep as I remember in my brain. In my memory, it was like, oh, I was
No,
probably
it was just like
mid-thigh.
mid calf. It was mid calf at best.
But I guess why do we have pictures of that? I mean, what is that? No, that's not the type of thing any normal person does.
We took pictures of a lot
but it's
of
also
things.
not a normal thing that then you would document with a wind and shoot camera. But we did that
back in those days, in the 90s, before you had to worry about like people getting access to your photo stream. The only thing you had to worry about was what the dude at the drugstore would think about developing your pictures, right?
Right.
And so it's like, okay, there's one person who's going to see, and he's just going to see a couple of boys with some mud on their legs. He doesn't know there's a dead dog in that hole.
And I looked and I did not find a picture of you. So I think you probably knew.
Smart.
I don't want the guy at Revco to see.
Revco.
To see
Is
me.
Revco still a thing?
Yeah, Revco's a thing, man. What is Revco stand
Revco's
for?
not out here though.
I don't know what that is.
Did you not have Revco in Greensboro?
I
Like
don't
a
think
Rite
so.
Aid. It's a drugstore. It's like a Walgreens, a Rite Aid, a Revco. CVS pharmacy.
Yeah, sold to CVS. Yeah,
They sold
we did
to
not
CVS.
have a
They sold out.
Revco and
You said
Yeah.
Revco recently when you were explaining something in like a meeting here. When you were like, like a Revco or something. I was like, no one knows what you're talking about. What do you?
You didn't say that. You didn't say anything. You just let me go on.
If I stopped you every single time you said something that made me think, what is he talking about? You wouldn't get a lot out.
oh my gosh, it has a really dark history
Oh,
actually.
Revco? What's the history of Revco?
So it was founded in 1956, and then it was growing.
They were doing
And
great.
then
Sinister.
in 1983, this is really effed up, guys. Its vitamins were blamed for the deaths of a number of premature infants, and then the guy
So, like,
who
prenatal
was
vitamins.
running it like panicked and then sold the company. Or I'm trying to summarize as I'm reading for the first time. It's not really working out, but I told you it was dark, and then basically it just doesn't exist anymore.
Wow, bad vitamins, huh? It'll take you down every time.
Oh no, not CVS. It says 1986.
It's Revco.
Rite Aid.
Rite Aid bought
Oh, wait.
Revco. and became...
No. Twists and turns here. And so 1996, they were talking to Rite Aid. They were like, Rite Aid, buy us. Then 1997, CVS came in, and they're like, that's going to be ours.
Rite Aid got played.
Boy, that's a screenplay waiting to not happen.
The Revco Diaries.
Wait, hold on. Then CVS sold Revco to, do you remember Eckerd?
Yeah!
Eckerd,
Yes,
that's the one I was trying to remember.
Yes, I do remember Eckerd.
Eckerd
Yes.
Drugs.
Eckerd's.
Yes.
Eckerd Drug. Yeah.
Man,
So anyway,
so few standing.
but we would have, I mean, we're like, we would have a camera around, but we also had a video camera and, but we didn't video a lot of stuff. We would just take snapshots of things, like that miraculous moment of jumping in a dog's grave.
Well, and Tucker was the focus of a lot of the stuff that a lot of the things we created. So in the book,
Yeah.
in chapter 1, no spoilers here because it's just chapter 1. The boys are making their horror movie called Polterdog, starring Tucker, and that was a shout out to our first screenplay ever, which we read at some point on the show, Gutless Wonders. Mm-hmm. And Tucker plays a very pivotal role in Gutless Wonders as well, but it's a little less clever than a ghost dog. It's just a dog who
Talks and wears
can
clothes.
speak and is basically a human.
But the joke was, and I think this was the only well executed joke in Gutless Wonders that I can recall,
And there was a few.
was that Tucker could speak and it wasn't acknowledged. That was a good joke.
Oh, it's kind of like Family Guy then.
I guess so. Well, Family Guy didn't exist. It's like
Right? Yeah.
maybe McFarlane's
got a hold of our scripts.
Yeah, he did. We gotta take something up with him. Is he still on that Star Trek show? Anyway, a Star Trek rip-off show?
So
Farmville. What's it called? Orville.
Farmville is a different thing. Yeah.
Farmville's still a thing.
So the jumping in the dog's grave, it does seem morbid, but I don't think we actually made any. You didn't make any contact with the dog, and it was a large box. It was a refrigerator box. There was a lot of space. There was a lot of air, and that's why for many years it was very easy to see where Tucker was buried because eventually the box collapsed.
Right.
And
That
there
was the divot
just
I was talking about.
A box-sized divot that you kind of had to look out. But you think it just filled in over time like a scar?
I think someone might have smoothed it out and reseeded at some point. Yeah.
The grass grew very well.
My mom owned that house up until very recently. And then, she rented it out, but then she didn't want to have to deal with the management of the property, and she sold it. And then they said we could come film there, but we didn't, they didn't want us to go inside.
But weren't people
That's what I mean.
home at the time that you were there?
Yeah, it's like the dude's parents were there, and even though there was no cars there, I think they were inside because I opened the door. I don't know. I just went up to the door and it was an old familiar feeling. It's like there's the doorknob. It's like I remember grabbing this doorknob and turning it and going in this house every day because it was my house. So I did that,
But you don't get the right to go into a house forever just because you once lived there.
Especially when you ask them if you could film there, and they said, "Well, you can film outside, but don't come inside." I didn't go. I opened the door, and then I realized, why am I doing this? And I shut the door, and I think I heard people in there.
We also
So I did that.
We didn't put this in the final cut of the documentary, but we also went into my attic at my house.
That's right.
Because we discovered something, and the interesting thing is Jake, who lives in my parents'
The beard
house
guy.
now, he
It's his house now.
in my parents' old house. He hasn't removed the McLaughlin brick though, so I think brick is like 50% ownership.
You think he's selling? You think he's telling people that you used to live there?
No, I don't think that. We're telling people that. What I was gonna say is that when my dad contacted him to say, hey, Rhett wants to come back and go. And Jake is familiar with what we do, and he's like, sure, no problem. And he was like, also, Rhett and Link carved their names into the attic. If you want to he was like, if you want to cut it out and take it with you.
But he didn't say Rhett and Link to us because we are Rhett and Link.
He said it to my dad.
He said it to your dad.
Yeah. And
we didn't.
Well, inside the attic, there's this foam insulation, but it's not like the old school insulation. It's like foam that you can kind of run your finger through, and
it's like a styrofoam board.
And the Stillermans, who I don't know if you remember the twins, the Stillermans, they lived there before me, and so there's so that would be late 70s, early 80s, and they had put a baseball card collection up on the styrofoam and then put marker all around it to say what it is. So it says 1979, so-and-so player card or whatever. They had all their cards organized. And of course, then they took all their cards. So then there was just kind of the skeleton of, so I would go in there and kind of look at that as a child and just be fascinated at the remnants of a baseball card collection. But then one time I was like, I'm going to carve my name in this thing. And so we found it. It says Rhett 1990. Is that what it said? I can't remember. It's like
93. I mean,
it was right around the same time.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool that we found it because it was right around the same time. But then we found your name, and it said Link 67 because you thought that would be cool to throw people off.
Or I was a time traveler.
Yeah, right.
It's a time travel joke. In the least.
Yeah. Because
we
we
were
were big fans of Quantum Leap at the time.
I was
Scott
a time
Bakula, who we have a standing invitation to come on the show. He hasn't responded. But Jake offered that we could cut that out of the foam, and we didn't. I think it should stay. It should stay in the homestead.
And then it reminds me that in our college dorm room, we did a similar thing in the closet. If you go in the closet and go back that way, when we moved out, we decided to write a thing there. And at one point, we went back there to see if that was still there. And was it?
No, they had painted over it. But also in the college apartment that we lived in, I went into the room that just has the air conditioning unit in there.
Yeah.
And on the side of the air conditioning unit, I wrote F the police.
And you're serious?
Yeah.
Yeah. You spelled it out too, I bet.
I did. Yeah. I put all 4 letters of F. Yeah.
Okay.
And
that's a teaser for.
Because I thought that was funny, but we.
Well, what happens tomorrow on tomorrow's episode of the documentary?
That's right, Link.
That happens again. You'll see another instance.
I like to write on.
Rhett would go around places and you just deface them with his finger like a knife or something. You were a carver.
Yeah, I'm a carver. That's what we call it.
You were a tainter. What's it called when you taint things?
Can we have a different word?
Like a tagger. That's what I was trying to.
Yeah.
You're like a finger tagger.
I'm a finger tagger.
Use your finger and you tag.
Doesn't sound any better.
He finger tagged what you're going to see tomorrow. So come back tomorrow and watch that, and then the next day, and if it's later than today, then it's already out and you can watch it right now. And also, in a recent episode of Ear Biscuits, we read excerpts from the novel. Show them the novel again. I want to keep showing.
Look at it.
And we talked about. So if you're interested
got our
in
picture in it,
in more about us talking about the specifics of the novel, that happens on Ear Biscuits.
Yes.
And we want to invite you to be a part of the conversation. We want you to talk to us and each other about the experience of reading the novel. I mean, we're very excited to hear about your experiences and how it strikes you. So I know on the Mythical Society, there's going to be discussions. If you're a member there, you can connect with other mythical beasts and talk about the novel on the Discord. I think Goodreads offers discussion.
Yeah,
but
there's discussion groups.
I don't know if that's happening with Bleak
and
Creek.
It's easy to set up a Goodreads account. Obviously, we could always use a review over there at Goodreads. And then in about a month or so, we're going to have an episode of Ear Biscuits where we basically a book club episode where we discuss things. So ask us questions on Twitter with hashtag Bleak Creek, and we'll gather those up and we'll talk about them on Ear Biscuit.
All right, so we'll see you tomorrow with installment 2 of the documentary.
Make sure to grab your copy of The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek at bleakcreek.com and wherever books are sold.